We're making the shells and cords crochet stitch. The shells and cords crochet stitch is really pretty. It just works up super beautiful and it's very versatile. I've seen this crochet stitch worked in blankets. In fact, I've actually made one here on my YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. I've seen the shells and cords crochet stitch worked as a blanket border, such as the Essentials Baby Blanket uses the shells and cords pattern as the border for that blanket. I've seen this used in beanies, scarves, cowls. Oh gosh, I've seen it used for purses, bags, baskets, even the wrist portion of gloves. There's so many different ways that you can use this stitch, which makes it a lot of fun. Now, the level for this crochet pattern is technically an intermediate level crochet pattern because we are using shells and post stitches or relief stitches, they're also called. Now, both of these stitches fall in that intermediate category. However, I feel that I can show you how to do this stitch in such a way that an advanced beginner crocheter could do this stitch. I really believe in you. I think you can do it, all right? But all in all, yes, intermediate level crochet pattern. So if you're struggling a little bit, that would be why. Requires these extra fancy stitches. All right, so the terminology I'm going to be using for this tutorial is US terminology. So when I'm referring to the names of certain stitches, I'm using US terms. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the shells and cords crochet stitch does come in a multiple stitch count of a multiple of 7 plus 2. So I'm going to make it just a small little swatch, and I encourage you to do the same so you can get a feel for the stitch, see what you think. I'm going to make a total of 30 chains in my foundation row. So starting with a long enough tail for me to weave in that end, create my slip knot, attach my crochet hook. Great. So multiple of 7 plus 2. 1, 2. Now, when it comes to these chains, I do want to mention real quick, make your chains loose. A lot of us have a tendency to make our foundation row chain really tight, make those chains really tight. However, when we are coming back for row 1 to put shells in these chains, you're going to want to make sure there's enough room for all those stitches to fit in that chain. Also, that the next chain over doesn't disappear entirely. So when you're working these chains, make sure that you're giving yourself a loose chain. Lots of room in here to work with. All right, I'll see you at the end of your foundation row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Awesome. Plus 2. 29 and 30. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get right to row 1. Now for row 1, we are going to start by making a shell stitch in the 6th chain from our crochet hook. So let's start by just finding the 6th chain from our crochet hook. Look at those V stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now to work the shell, we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches, 2 chains, 2 double crochet stitches in the same stitch space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double crochet 1, double crochet 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 double crochets. Same stitch space. 1 and 2. Perfect. There is your shell. Now the skipped 5 chains counts as our first double crochet stitch and then skip 2 chains. So that has a significance, all right? It does count as a stitch. Next, we're going to skip 2 chains. So skip 1, skip 2, and then make 1 double crochet stitch in the following 2 chain spaces. 1 and 2. Awesome. Skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. In that 3rd chain, make your shell. 2 double crochets. 2 chains. 2 double crochets. Great. skip 2 chains. Now, what I want you to be aware of, pay attention to, is after we make the shell stitches, that's a lot of stitches inside that one chain space, and sometimes that chain will squeeze the stitches, the 2 chains next to it, it'll squeeze them closed. So it's easy to possibly skip this next chain. You don't want to do that, it'll mess with your stitch count. Your count and where you're placing your stitches. So just be very aware next to the chain that you put your shell stitch here, count 2, 1, 2. All right, and then make 1 double crochet stitch in the following 2 chains. 1, 2. Great. And repeat. Skip 2, 1, 2, shell, skip 2, 1, 2, 1 double crochet stitch in the following 2 stitch spaces. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then 1, 2. At the very end of row 1, we are going to make a double crochet stitch in that last chain or last stitch space. Boom. That is what we are looking at right there. Pretty awesome, right? Let's move on to row 2. For row 2, and really every single row of this entire pattern, we start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3, and then turn. Or turn and then chain, it doesn't matter. Okay, that chain 3 does count as our first double crochet stitch, and we'll take the space of that first stitch space. It really doesn't matter though, because the first stitch we make is a shell stitch inside that chain 2 section of the shell stitch from the row below. So find your shell stitch, find the chain 2 section right there in the middle. In that chain 2 section, we're going to make a shell. So 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Great. After we make the shell, that's when we start making those post stitches or relief stitches. We're going to start by making 1 front post double crochet stitch around each of these double crochets. We're going to yarn over. Find that first double crochet stitch. I'm going to go ahead and kind of separate it so it's really identifiable, alone. I'm going to come at that stitch from the side, go behind it, just like that. Yarn over, pull that yarn all the way through. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is your front post double crochet. Do that one more time. So yarn over, find that next double crochet stitch here, go at the side of it, behind it. There we go. Perfect. And then repeat the pattern. Shell stitch, front post, shell stitch, front post, all the way across for row 2. All right, when we get to the end of row 2, at the very end, you will have this shell stitch. Great, finishing that shell stitch right there. Okay, at the very end of row 2, we are going to make a double crochet stitch in the top turning chain from the row below. So skip that double crochet, find the chains here on the side, and double crochet in that top chain or turning chain to close row 2. Now, if you ever see it a pattern where it says TCH, that stands for turning chain, and it's really the top chain that you made in the row below to get to that next row. Usually when it says this counts as a stitch, that's a turning chain. All right, guys, so this is where we're at. By double crocheting in that top turning chain, it really helps to square off that side, which we really like, we really want. And there you go. Let's move on to row 3. Again, chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn our work. Great. Start with that shell stitch. Now the next thing that's different, what separates row 3 and really any odd number row from this point on, is we are making back post double crochet stitches around those 2 post stitches. So let's go ahead and yarn over. Take your crochet hook, work it back of the stitch. So find that double crochet, going to come from the back forward, push that stitch back, yarn over, pull through. So technically it should look like you're flossing, that yarn should come right across that stitch right there, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, take your crochet hook, back of the work, come between or to the side of that stitch, poking forward, push that stitch back, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now ideally, what you want to check for to make sure you did it right is when you're done, you want there to be a line still right in front of that stitch. When we flip it over, we want it to look like this stitch is one long row. Okay, that's what we want it to look like, because here, let me pull this demo out. We want these long cords to elongate this whole way. If I were to flip it to the back, there's no cords. All right, so that's how you'll know if you need to do a front post double crochet or a back post double crochet. Just look at your stitches here. Be like, I don't see any cords. I must be doing a back post double crochet. If you're on this side, oh, I see the cords. I need to do a front post double crochet, and keep these cords all on the front of the work only. It is possible that you will mess this up. All right, so just every now and then, periodically, like look at your work, check to make sure that all of your posts are on the same side. That way you don't get far into your work and you come and you look way down here and you're like, oh man, dang it, and you have to take it all out, because it will be an eyesore, a green thumb, it'll stick out, okay? Right, and then after we do the post stitches, we just repeat shell stitch, and front post double crochet. Great. And repeat. If you find that I'm going too fast for you in this tutorial, you can actually control the speed of my video all on your own. If you're watching from a computer, at the very bottom of my video, you should see a little gear. Push on the gear. If you're watching from a phone or tablet, at the very top corner of the screen, you should see 3 dots. Push on those 3 dots. Click playback speed. You can control how fast or how slow my video goes all by yourself. Now, it may make my voice go really slow, but the speed of how I show you how to do the stitch will also go really slow, and sometimes that helps people. So just a solution if you find I'm ever going too fast for you. Just slow me down. All right, at the very end of row 3, almost, there we go. Finish that shell. All right, at the very end of row 3, we are going to place our last stitch, which will be a double crochet stitch in that top or third turning chain. We will never put any stitches inside of these double crochet stitches of the shell. Never. All right, and that will square off that side. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's go ahead and move on to row 4. Row 4 is the last row of the repeat. So I want to make sure I show that to you real quick. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work. Beautiful. Shell stitch. Chain 2. Right. The post stitches are looking at me, so I'm doing front post double crochet. Behind it. Behind it. If you need to, I like to use my finger and push that stitch forward to help make it more pronounced, so it's easier for my crochet hook to go around it. And then shell. Okay, last shell here of row 4. And boom. Okay, last stitch for row 4 is going to be a double crochet stitch inside the third chain or top turning chain of the side. And this is what we're looking at, guys. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Okay, so all you're doing for this pattern is repeating row 3 and row 4 over and over and over again until you have met the dimension of the project that you were making. And really the only difference between row 3 and row 4 is the posts. If you're making a front post double crochet or a back post double crochet, keeping these post stitches on the front of the work. Okay, now some common things that I could see somebody do with this project and then think that they messed up. This project does have a tendency to want to curl like that. Curl. And that's just because the post stitches are tight. They're fresh, brand new stitches, and they're just wanting to bring everything in. Unless you crochet with a very loose tension, this is likely to happen, all right? And it's okay. It's totally fine. What you can do if it bothers you is just block your project and it will lay perfectly flat. Either that or allow the stitches to relax. Some people will do this with a little steam, which is also blocking, but just with time, allow those stitches to relax and they will fall flat for you. So it's a nice straight kind of project. All right, so don't let that worry you, especially even if it curls sideways, same thing. It's just tension and it's okay. All right, so the last thing I need to show you though is when you're looking at this project, you'll notice that the top of the project has these beautiful little mountains. Not the easiest way to put a border around, not the easiest top to put a border on, okay? There is a last row that you can do to flatten out the top. Some people might like to make this project upside down though and think that's really pretty. Go for it if you want to. But if you want to flatten out the top, there is a last row. So let's go ahead and do the last row together. Last row, we are only going to be chaining 2. 1, 2. Then turn our work. Great. First double crochet stitch. Looking at the shell, we're actually working into the shell. So first double crochet stitch, we make a half double crochet. Second double crochet stitch, we make a single crochet. In the chain 2 section, we only place 1 single crochet stitch. Next double crochet gets 1 single crochet stitch. Next double crochet gets 1 half double crochet stitch. Perfect, look how that flattened out. Not neat, right? And then in the next 2 post stitches, we are going to make a decreased double crochet stitch. So yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the top of that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops on your crochet hook, leaving you with 2 loops. Then yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the top of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops on your crochet hook, leaving you with 3 loops. 1 loop attached to this stitch, 1 loop attached to that stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's it. Okay, that's the repeat. Half double crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, or decreased double crochet here. Do that together. Half, single, 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 half, decrease double crochet. Perfect. Repeat this all the way across. Let me get there. Go in turbo mode. Great, and then at the very end of the last row that you make, you are going to make a half double crochet stitch in the second, so it's going to go half double crochet, single crochet, then single crochet, half double crochet, and then make 1 half double crochet in the top turning chain to close. There you go. And that will flatten out the top of your work, so you can add a border if you'd like. Cut a long enough tail for you to weave in any ends, yarn over, pull through, tie off, and you are done. Oh, I love it. It is so, so pretty. So again, this is the Shells and Cords crochet stitch worked in a multiple stitch count of a multiple of 7 plus 2. I highly encourage you to play with this. Just make a small little swatch. If you'd like to, I have these awesome little stitch cards on my website. They're free. Print them off as many as you want. I printed it on cardstock so it's firmer, stronger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple this little swatch that I made to it along with all of the following information to help me and be a good reference for you when you are looking for a fun stitch to play with. And if you want to, you can even write on the card, I love this stitch, or I had a lot of fun with this stitch. All right. I hope you had fun with this stitch. I really do hope you give it a try. If you liked playing with this Shells and Cords crochet stitch, check out all my other stitch videos right here. Just keep it going, have fun. Just crochet your heart out. Or check out this video right here, which is just a recommended video for you to watch. Thank you so much for spending time with me, crocheting with me. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my membership program, and I'll see you with the next one, guys. Bye.